So James CREAN, I'm president of CREAN Incorporated, and we're more on the customer side, I think, for most of the folks here, at least the folks in real estate. So we work with we provide engineering services and smart factory transformation services to a large part of the aerospace industry and other segments of small and medium-sized businesses as well. So it's interesting in our space because we're actually working with companies that are seeing this as an opportunity, and in some cases, and seeing and also companies that are working with trying to ramp up to meet the COVID demand. And so there's we're working more with that segment of the economy that is bringing that manufacturing back from overseas. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that and some of the trends that we're seeing out there, and perhaps some of the ways that folks in real estate might be able to take advantage of that, and as well as others. I do think there's a message of hope in all of this, and and that really is that manufacturing is coming back. So let me start. I'll tell you a little bit about what we do and kind of how we have sort of a view, what our view of the market is and where it's coming from. So we, CREAN Incorporated provides advanced product development engineering services and smart factory transformation services to both some of the largest companies in the country, like Northrop Grumman and General Dynamics and Boeing and NASA. But we also work with numerous small to medium-sized companies, who are a lot of times the suppliers to those folks, and companies outside of the aerospace industry as well, but from startups to some of the largest companies. And traditionally, most of those companies have pretty long supply chains, right? And they typically end up going back, eventually to China at some point. As we've been talking to our clients and folks in our segment of the world, we're sort of seeing four themes and trends. And so I thought maybe I'd share some of that, with you. The near-term one, right now is obviously centered around COVID, and quite honestly, there's a lot of anti-Chinese sentiment. I've heard it's as high now as it ever has been, all going back even beyond the Tiananmen Square incidents. But there's really a push towards doing more made in America, and that sort of U.S.-centric patriotism, and quite honestly, never underestimate American patriotism. I think it's a big trend. The second trend that I refer to as Amazon Prime 2.0, right? So we're all very familiar with being able to order something and get it overnight. Now, it's been a little bit of a problem lately, but typically, right, you can order something on Amazon, you can get it, sometimes the same day, but the next day or two. Those are all products that are canned and ready to go. The Prime 2.0 really is being able to order something that's custom, right? That's configured to order or custom to order, and be able to get that overnight. Well, when it takes 7 days by air or 30 days by sea to get something from China and through customs and to a customer, well, you can't do that, right? It's not going to work. If you're going to get it overnight, it has to be made in America. The third thing that has really been around for a while, and it's sort of one of those dirty little secrets that people don't realize, is that it's actually cheaper to make things in the United States. Just on the labor category, right? So you say, well, gee, American labor can't compete with Chinese labor rates. They're 6 times cheaper than in the U.S., right? But the reality is that U.S. productivity is 8 times higher than Chinese productivity. So just in that, excuse me, just in that, factor, when you just look at that and setting aside shipping and everything else, here's a 20 to 30% advantage that U.S. manufacturing has. And then the last trend that is really important is that there is a digitization, and it's this is sort of where we focus our attention is in smart factory implementations using Industry 4.0 technology. So it's bringing all of these industrial Internet of Things type technologies to the manufacturing space, and you end up creating a 2 to 10 times improvement in productivity for U.S. companies when you start bringing those technologies to bear. And I'm telling you, that smart factory, those methods and technologies, including, some pretty straightforward technology implementations and some of the more exciting things that, that you hear about like AI, it can really create time and cost efficiencies like we've never seen before. And honestly, we've barely scratched the surface in what's possible. And I do want to say, don't believe Elon Musk when he says, well, there'll be no manufacturing jobs out there because AI is going to do everything for you, right? Every industrial revolution has had that prediction, and it's always been wrong. The result is what really happens is you need more people, and those people will produce more things than ever before. And more importantly, they'll be able to produce complex products that we can't even imagine today, right? And so that AI and those kinds of things are going to help us to develop products that we couldn't even think of. So success in the coming transformed world is going to come to companies that succeed in evolving people and the process and the technology in harmony. That's what it takes in order to be successful. And those companies that are able to do that are going to be incredibly successful. I know that there's some amazing companies here in the United States that are working on that and that are doing that, and the results are phenomenal. And quite honestly, those companies that don't do it, they're going to be bought out by the ones that do, right? So, it's all coming back. I mean, there's a lot of manufacturing that's coming back, and the jobs are going to be coming with it. And it was destined to happen before the before COVID. Because of the cost of labor overseas versus U.S. productivity trends, the fact that we're getting an increased demand for customized products quickly, and the U.S. adoption of smart factory technologies. And all of that, you then combine that with what's happening with COVID, and COVID is creating this forcing function to say, hey, we really have to look at our supply chain. There's critical aspects that need to be here, but I'm telling you, it's not just PPE that needs to be here. It's not just biotech that needs to be here. It's everything that needs to be here because of the forces within the marketplace that are saying, hey, you know what? It makes a lot more sense to make things in the United States than overseas. So those that are in industrial real estate, I expect that this is going to be a continuing trend where there's going to be opportunities and those, and so there's interest there. You're going to be busy. We're working with companies already that are, they're coming to us and saying, well, hey, help us design a new factory. Help us implement smart factory technologies. We need more space. We're going to be doing more work here. So there's definitely, companies that are suffering very terribly, and my heart goes out to all those folks. But there's also companies that are going to succeed going forward, both from COVID and the trends that have been in place. So, yeah. So stay healthy, stay safe, and future, there are some cool opportunities in the future. So it's just a matter of making those adjustments and finding where those are. And we're happy to help if there's anybody that, go to CREANinc.com or, give me a call at 512-337-6587. Happy to help and in any way that we can, and give you some thoughts and advice of what we see is going on in the future.